All right, welcome to another man's point of view. That's right, I'm back. Now, it's been a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and explain to you what it's all about once again. Well, at least I'm gonna try. All right, here we go. 3 reasons that block you from being the man, right? Especially with women. Now, I got a video here. Their video is the number one trait that makes her wife material. Well, right off the bat, I'm gonna tell you what's wrong with that, right? This is what's wrong with that. The fact that you're looking for what makes her a wife material doesn't make you the man. Now, let me explain that. That is what doesn't allow you to be the man. Why? Because you're looking for reasons that will make her wife material. That makes it reasons for everybody else to criticize your sorry ass. Do you see how it doesn't work? What makes you the man is that she's your wife because you want her to be her wife. Period. That's it. You have to be the ultimate and final say in why she is your wife. And that is because you want her to be. Period. Any other dumbass excuse eliminates you from the final say. Do you see now what I'm saying? All right, but anyways, I'm gonna go through this video and I'm gonna tell you the first reason or first problem, right, on why men fail. Number one, biggest problem. And I'm gonna go right through them just like that, right? Number one, you cock block yourself. Number two, you talk your way out of pussy all by yourself. And number three, when you finally get somehow, you can't handle it. Those are the big three that I'm gonna tackle, and I'm gonna help all of you, my viewers, right, to get right through them. Now, of course, the hardest one is number one. You cock block yourself. Now, I've been telling you this all along, right? You're holding yourself back, right? Like looking for red flags. That's a holding yourself back. This is excuses. You like the girl, yes or no? Yes. Well, if you do, why the hell are you looking for red flags or signs or dumb at anything? Right? You like it, you get it. That's it. You see the difference between holding yourself back, right, and just getting what you want? What's the difference? Well, the one that got what he wanted, that's the man. The one that didn't, well, you fell short. So there you go, right? Now I know you don't like it because it sounds, it's maybe it's too straightforward. Maybe my delivery sucks. But at the end of the day, you know it to be true. So let's go ahead and jump into this video because I don't want to make the video too damn long and my comeback, suck. So let's go ahead and continue.
47 years. They're still very much in love with each other. They're very happy. Even with my wider family, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, happy marriages, right? So I'm in an environment where I'm fortunate to be able to see lots of positive examples of this institution working well, right? I'm also from a Nigerian background. I'm not like totally westernized.
Now that's the problem. You see that? You heard that? Just full of damn excuses and reasons why he somehow pulled through. Do you see what I'm telling you? When you talk like that, you're cock blocking yourself. Perfect example right off the bat. And I didn't even see the video. I didn't pre-watch it or anything. I just already know what these guys are made out of, just like that, because it's always the same damn excuse, right? Well, if I was fortunate enough, right, to not be subject to dumb fuckery, which eventually led me to be a dumb fuck myself, right? That's what he's saying, right? Basically. Instead of basically saying, well, I'm the shit, because I want to be the shit. You see the difference? That is the difference, and that is the difference maker, right? That's what it's all about. Every single time that you give credit to anything else, right? Anything else other than yourself, you're basically bringing yourself down. That's part of cock blocking. Now, I know how it sounds, but it is, right? It
I grew
just
up in
is.
Saudi Arabia in the Middle East, so my perspective is not kind of the same as someone who just was born and raised in California or in London or whatever. But I see what's going on, and the thing is, even from the conservative perspective, like all conservatives are very pro marriage, pro family. We need to bring back the family unit. We need to, and if you want to do that seriously beyond just talking, you have to understand why are young men skeptical about marriage now? Why are so many relationships?
You see, and that's what I always say. It's this sheep mentality of that if you can get the sheep together to do something, that's why it doesn't work. Because you're trying to get the collective to do something that they can't do themselves. How in the hell are you going to get the collective to do something if the single one is worth a damn? You're trying to build a pyramid with a bunch of dumb fucks. It just cannot be done, right? And that's the point. Now I know I'm going on a little harsh, right? Maybe I should take it a little back a little, right? But you get my point, right? That's my point. You're doing something that doesn't take the collective. You need but one. That's what I've been saying all along. All right?
Not going the distance. What's going on? Because the way it is right now, we're in this bizarre situation where legally and socially, there's one foot in this sort of progressive secular world, and then the other foot in the traditional, more religiously influenced world, and it doesn't mix well. So if you look at the laws around.
Yeah, it doesn't. None of that mixes well, right? It doesn't. Which is why it has to be the one, right? You ever heard of the big quote that everybody likes to throw out, right? Ever since they saw Game of Thrones, which is the lion does not concern himself with the opinions of a sheep. Well, guess what the majority are. And the lion ain't the majority. Alright, he's the one. That's the difference. Right? But here you are trying to fix the world. And it cannot be done. It has to be done brick by brick. Which is why it's so damn hard, right?
Whether it's divorce, alimony, child custody, the way that these things are written and also the way that they work out in practice, it's all based on this sort of like 1950s idea of, the man is the sole breadwinner. The woman's going to be destitute if, if the marriage fails.
I hate that disclaimer too. It's based on the 1950 idea. It ain't no 1950 idea. It's been around since the very beginning. This is just the way it is. Matter of fact, it's the way it works. And you ain't about to change it. It ain't a 1950 idea. It's been since day one. Once you understand that and get it out of your damn head that it's somehow some idea, right? That it's make believe. That it's the old norm, right? In that case, anything and pretty much everything should be able to work, right? Because it's just some dumbass idea that somebody came up with at some point. The collective got together, and there you go, it works. But guess what? It doesn't. Never has, never will. I've been saying this all along, right?
Alimony needs to be paid by the church. It's all based on, a sort of a sort of code of chivalry, almost, right? It's based on that old school world, but then there's also now, complete no fault divorce, and there's just culturally, girl, if you're not happy, just like go, just
right.
It's so.
And of course, a commercial.
It's
Now
your
take
journey
this
on every
time
mile.
to basically show you that as you can listen, it's just a bunch of damn excuses, right? That's all I hear. Excuse after excuse after excuse. why your boat sank, right? Well, it's because society. It's because she's now allowed to choose, right? It's because someone told her. Well, if someone told her to do something and she goes and does it, you ain't the man, are you? Right? You're the dumb fuck that pays the bills. That's it. You ain't the man. And I know it's the hardest pill to swallow to know that you pay the bills, right? That you're supposedly her man. And she's influenced by literally everybody else but you. And that's what makes it frustrating, right? But you must understand the only reason that's happening is because you ain't where you're supposed to be. And that is in the captain's chair steering the boat. You're worried about all sorts of other dumb things, right? But fear not, that's why I'm here, right? To show you how you can get right back in the captain's seat, right? And drive it to wherever the hell you want it to drive. Why? Because you're the man, right? But baby steps.
These things don't blend well. It's like you kind of have to pick one or the other. When I look at the marriages that work very well, it's typically conservative religious framing, right?
It's another problem, right? You're looking at everybody else's marriages, the ones that work. You know what? The ones that work, you know what it takes for those that work, huh? To supposedly continue to work, right? It takes super glue and gorilla glue and more glue. And yes, some tips and tricks, right? And maybe some cheating, right? You could throw it in there too. And willpower. That's why they work, right? But of course, they're not going to tell you because it has to look from outside, right? It has to look like everything's perfect. But in the inside, right? How do you know, right, that they're not holding all the deep, darkest, and most messed up secrets inside out of sheer will for the sake of this so-called perfect marriage that you think, right, is working? That's the reality. That's the elephant in the room. That's the thing that no one wants to look at, right? Because it destroys your very fabric of what you believe, right? And well, you can't be disturbed at that level, especially now, 2023. You can't be no one wants to face the truth. That is the truth, right? And no one wants to face the truth, let alone their maker.
Conservative religious people, and they're doing it just by the book. Gender roles. This is what the man does. This is what the woman does. Boom, till death do us apart. We don't really care about the state. This is before God, and neither of us are going to break that. And that works. But this sort of mix of the two, where people are trying to have their cake and eat it too, and you want to be a, strong, independent women, but you also want to have the husband there, but you don't really need him, but you also, I don't know. It's not working. And I think unless people are willing to talk about it and say, oh, okay, let's talk to these guys in their 30s, 20s, 30s, 40s.
Yeah, but when you start having those conversations, then the female first primary social order starts to push back, and they say things like, "So what do you want to do? You want us to go back to the 1950s? You want us to go back to a place in time where women were just property and they didn't have independence and they didn't have the ability to go and earn and make money?" It's like,
yep, perfect example. As soon as you get a little bit of pushback, the guy falls right down, right? And that's part of the problem. Right? You got to understand why women push back. Because you're telling them that you want something, and they're telling you there's a price to pay to get what you want. But as soon as you get a little bit of pushback, you fall right back, sit the hell down, and shut the hell up, right? Because you can't take the little pushback. It's the reason you're running your mouth, bitching and moaning in the first place. Because she's pushing back. Which in all reality is just her pushing back, is literally just her testing you. And you fail the test just like that. Pre-test, by the way, which is even worse. Right? And I know you don't like it, but it's just the way it is, right? That's the price you have to pay. And once you understand that you must pass this damn test, then it's all going to get easier because now you know what you're at least doing. Right? What you're gonna do, what the first step is. You're asking for a lot and basically promising a lot, but you haven't shown that you even can handle a simple dumbass pretest. Do you see the problem here?
All right, here we go. And it's like, they want to take you to this like weird zone that we're never going to go back to. Let's just be honest. But I mean, you were talking about the numbers before when it comes to things like marriage, and you've got like the religious component, you've got the cultural issues, you've got well, my family, my extended family, and all that family, it works well, and we've done it forever, and they've been married and love and all that sort of stuff. But that's an old social contract that doesn't really exist today. I mean, one of the strongest indicators that you're choosing a good, we'll just call it wife stock, like a good mother for your kids, like good wife stock, would be a woman that
And all of that to finally get to the point. But let's see if we can end it here.
hasn't been promiscuous in her past. There's a study out there, I think it's called the Teachman study, and I think it tracks the data. There's one that tracks it up to a dozen past partners, and there's one that tracks it up to, I think, 25 or something like that. But either way, the data is conclusive that if you invite a woman into your life as a wife that has been with no
Think about what he just said. That's why I paused it, right? Well, he said two big ass important things that are the be all end all of this whole situation, right? Number one is the whole her past history, right? Which automatically eliminates her from wife material. Now you're in a pickle, right? Because you want this girl and you want her to be your wife, but based on some rules, right, and everybody's belief, well, she's no longer that qualified, right, to be in that position. Then he goes on to say, well, when you want to invite a girl, as the title of your wife, well, then what the hell are we talking about here, right? If you can just invite her to any type of title that you want, then what's the point, right? Why not skip the wife thing, right? Just invite her in and shut the hell up, right? You don't have to say anything else. Like, why are you trying to do something that you're already in a pickle and you already know she's not it? You see it's not hypocritical, but it's more of a, well, what is it? It makes no sense. It only means to me that you're hiding your true intentions, right? You're trying to act, and this goes back to my video, the original title, right? Problem number one is that you cock block yourself. Why? Because you're not truthful, right? You are telling the world that you want something, but in reality, you want something else, right? It's more devious, and everybody knows, right, that there's hidden motives in what you're trying to do, and that's part of the problem, right? Because when you're trying to be nice, right, trying to be the nice guy, you're trying to bring her in, right, invite her in, and be like, all right. They see right through your fakeness, right? But you sitting there acting like that's really you. And we all know that that's not you, right? So you're cock blocking yourself. You see the point, right? Putting up all these rules, right? These beliefs. You think it's how the world should be, right? Because you think that that's your code of honor. And while it may truly be that it is your code of honor, your code of honor doesn't work. So no matter how hard you go on this code of honor, your code of honor doesn't work fundamentally because it's backed up by this belief, right? Well, not this belief, but the other person knows that shit doesn't exist. You're feeding them a scam, or at least all the red flags of a scam, right? Which is why it doesn't work. Hell, you don't believe it yourself. Put it that way. But let's continue now.
Nobody. She's a virgin. She is yours, and that is it. The chances of you getting divorced after 8 years is something like 5%. It's very, very low. Even after, I think, four past partners, the data starts to drop to like 40, 50, and it it just gets worse from there. Like the chance of you getting divorced after 7 or 8 years, if she's had 4 partners, is something like 40 or 50% higher than a woman that's a virgin. And where do you find these women that don't have promiscuous past today if they've been told for decades through culture and society, you go girl, men and women are equal. If men can be promiscuous, then women can too without consequence.
And we'll end with that because he finally got to the point, right? But it's a simple mathematical, right, problem. You think about it, right? What he's saying is that if she's new, then your little divorce thing chart falls to just a 5% chance of failure, right? But what he's basically saying is that it all falls on, well, whether she has a past or not, right? Then he goes on to, well, if it goes above 4, then your percentages are now high, damn near guaranteed. And he never asks why, right? But he's trying to say, right, the message, the overall message is that if the number's high, well, your chances are high, right? But then I pose this question to you, right? Whose fault is it, right? Is it her fault or your fault? And if you want to get technical about it, can it even be her fault if it's just a matter of, well, numbers here? We're talking about numbers. Right? Well, if it's 1, then you're all set, right? Your chances are low. All the variables don't matter as long as she's in the 0, right? In the clear. But what they're saying is, well, if it's above 4, then you're doomed, right? You're doomed. But again, I ask you the question, whose fault is it, right? If her number's high, well, then it's just the fact of mathematics, right? According to the chart, it's just because you went over 4, woman. So that's why it ain't gonna work. That's what we're saying, right? And if you're in 0, well, it's gonna work. But if you look into it a little deeper, right, and actually put a little bit of brain power, you can see what they're trying to do. Their little attempt is to convince the collective women to stay in 0 so that the guys, right, don't have to do the work. So that the guys don't, there is no excuse, right? It's guaranteed success if you keep your number low. Right? At least that's what it sounds to me, right? It sounds, well, how are we going to do it now if all these girls have a elevated number? Well, it's not my fault, clearly, right? It ain't my fault. Only you forget the elephant in the room. For all these damn numbers, right, that are being thrown out, well, someone has to be dishing them, right? Who's dishing the numbers? Right? If little old you is here, right? Little old victim you, sitting over here looking for a 0, right? But someone's dishing out the elevated number, right? The 4s, 5s, the 6, 10 body count, the 20s, right? Well, long and behold, now you got another mathematical problem. Well, if we are working with 10 numbers, right, variables here, little old you, we got the woman here, and then we got another 10. Another 10 number body count that everybody throws around, but nobody seems to know who are these 10, right? Well, do you see the problem here? Everybody's forgetting the elephant in the room. We got 10 numbers, right? Do I have to draw it for you? The point is, right? Us guys, at least successful, right? So, and not all of us are successful, but we still add to the number, right? Is my point, right? So I guess you could say, if we quantify their math problem, And what I'm saying, right, then you can deduct and then you do the subtraction. Well, I did the math for you already, so just take my word for it, right? Basically, what I'm saying is, right, whoever was 1 or 2, the number 1 or 2, right, from the 10, well, they should have done what your supposed 0 or 5% chart. It should have been successful, right? Right? Or am I off? Or did I explain it all bad, right? Let me see if I could do it again. So, what you're saying is that if the original guy, the number 1, who met the 0, right, and gave her number 1, then it should have worked out according to your chart. But what you're telling me is that these women now are above 4, so your chart didn't work, right? As a matter of fact, these high numbers are proving that the first one don't work. So there's something else going on here, right? Right? Or am I off? But anyways, see, these are the type of things and questions, right, that no one's asking because it's the truth, right? Or maybe it's too damn complicated, or it assumes a little bit. It basically put it this way, right? If you didn't get any of the damn mumbo jumbo that I said, we'll end with this. It's when you put yourself in these so-called charts and arguments and damn debates, and when you put yourself truly in the situation, then you realize that you're part of the problem and that no one's gonna fix it for you but yourself. And that's where you back up and go, I'm just gonna run my mouth and hope to be saved one day. And that's how we end up in this big ass situation of, well, let's get the collective. Maybe we could all do it together, right? And sing Kumbaya. and play Tutti Frutti, right? In a perfect world. And you can sit your ass back, right? Because you've been saved. What you don't want to face is the truth. That you have to do it, right? That you and only you can fix this problem. It's the call to action. You're cock blocking yourself. Stop. That's the message. So there you go. Alright, if you like this video, give me a like. I hope I didn't make it too damn long. I hope you understood it. I know my delivery may be a little harsh, right? I may talk too damn much, but if you ain't interested, well, then what can I say, right? One day you will, and when you are ready, the master will appear. So there you go. I'll see you on the next man's point of view.